And still no return date for two astronauts virtually stranded on the International Space Station. They say they're not worried that they won't be able to make it back. The astronauts.
In a startling twist that has sent shockwaves through the world of space exploration, two astronauts find themselves stranded aboard the International Space Station, ISS. Their return to Earth hanging in the balance due to alarming complications with Boeing's Starliner spacecraft. As tensions rise, Elon Musk drops hints of revelations that could escalate this already precarious situation into a full-blown crisis, leaving the fate of the astronauts and the reputation of a storied aerospace giant uncertain. How did we arrive at this alarming crossroads, and what implications does it hold for the future of human spaceflight? Once celebrated as a hallmark of American ingenuity, the Boeing Starliner now teeters on the brink of failure, casting a long shadow over the ambitious plans for commercial space travel. In this deep dive into the unfolding drama, we will not only explore the technical missteps that have led to the astronauts' plight, but also unravel the broader ramifications for NASA, Boeing, and the entire landscape of space exploration. As we peel back the layers of this complex narrative, we pose critical questions. What lies ahead for the stranded astronauts? Will their ordeal become a catalyst for change in safety protocols and engineering practices? And what hidden truths will emerge from this ongoing saga that could redefine our understanding of space travel itself? The clock is ticking, and the stakes have never been higher. How SpaceX grew popular while Boeing's Starliner fell out of favor. When Elon Musk tweeted in August 2024 that established aerospace companies might not have a monopoly on space travel, it appeared to cast a pall over Boeing's reputation. His remarks were not meaningless small talk. Rather, they followed a chain reaction that demonstrated how far SpaceX had come and how much more difficult things have remained for Boeing. The Commercial Crew Program, which NASA launched a decade ago with the goal of decreasing dependence on Russian spacecraft for astronaut transfer to the International Space Station, planted the seeds of this rivalry. Despite SpaceX's $2.6 billion bid, the massive $4.2 billion contract went to Boeing, thanks to its ambitious Starliner aspirations. While SpaceX's Crew Dragon rocketed to success, having launched a number of crewed missions since 2020, Boeing's Starliner was a complete bust. The Starliner, which was supposed to be ready to transport astronauts by 2017, has encountered numerous obstacles, including software problems and mechanical breakdowns, resulting in an astonishing halt to development. The choice by NASA to use SpaceX's Crew Dragon to retrieve Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore from their stranded mission highlighted how the space race is changing. A voice for those who wanted commercial space travel emerged in Musk's criticisms of Boeing as the company faltered. He stressed that Russian spacecraft might have been called upon to save the astronauts if SpaceX hadn't been there, which would have hampered American space aspirations. According to Musk, Boeing's demise should serve as a lesson to businesses who choose to sit on their laurels instead of embracing change and innovation in the face of fierce competition. What does the rivalry between SpaceX and Boeing say about the space industry's evolving dynamics? The Commercial Crew Program at NASA. A quick overview. In 2010, NASA launched the Commercial Crew Program with the intention of reviving the United States human spaceflight capability through collaboration with private aerospace businesses. After the Space Shuttle retired, NASA wanted to wean astronauts off of Russian Soyuz spacecraft that transported them to the International Space Station. The government's goal in going with Boeing and SpaceX for contracts was to encourage private sector innovation and competition. Equipped with a reusable crew capsule that could accommodate a maximum of 7 astronauts, Boeing's Starliner was conceived as an innovative means of transporting these space travelers. But its development timeframe slid far out of whack. Many setbacks occurred after initial predictions put the Starliner's operational debut in 2017 in jeopardy. In contrast, SpaceX successfully completed a crewed trip as early as 2020, which brought even more attention to Boeing's problems. The rivalry was fierce, and the stakes were high, because NASA had refocused its efforts on human spaceflight. While SpaceX reveled in its achievements, Boeing was under growing public and NASA scrutiny. leading to doubts about the company's capacity. At that point, attention turned to SpaceX's Crew Dragon, which became the go-to choice for crewed flights. Discussions on the mission's feasibility arose when Boeing dealt with failures, which threatened the future of its Starliner program. Is the future of human spaceflight in danger because NASA is too dependent on Boeing? Challenges faced by Boeing's Starliner in terms of technology. Numerous technical problems have plagued Boeing's Starliner project, and they appear to be getting worse with each new attempt at improvement. There were major problems, including software errors and engineering shortcomings, with the Starliner's development from the beginning. A key timing issue had a significant impact on the mission of the spacecraft during its first unmanned test flight in December 2019. Fuel mismanagement and an unsuccessful attempt to dock with the International Space Station occurred because the Starliner's internal clock failed, mistakenly indicating that the spacecraft was ahead of schedule in its mission. Boeing had to rethink its strategy after this disaster. A comprehensive investigation was requested by NASA, and it revealed numerous faults that needed fixing before the Starliner could try to launch again. Because of the investigation's revelations about Boeing's culture of complacency, NASA stepped up their monitoring and demanded responsibility. Boeing's problems persisted beyond that point. Engineers found rust in the propulsion system as the business got ready for more test flights. This meant significant repairs, which further pushed back their deadline. Not only did the Starliner's operational readiness suffer due to the recurrent technical issues, but the spacecraft's overall safety was also called into question. As Boeing readied the Starliner for a crewed flight in 2024, the dangers of the flight path became more apparent. Will Boeing be able to win back NASA's confidence despite its technical difficulties? What happens if astronauts get stuck on the International Space Station? Space travel's dependability and safety are called into doubt by the present predicament of astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore, who are stuck on board the International Space Station. They represent the complicated reality of human spaceflight and the difficulties of keeping a crew in a cramped area for a long time, and their predicament is more than simply an annoyance. Special mental and physical obstacles are a part of life on the International Space Station. As a result of their regimented schedules and lack of personal space, astronauts frequently find it difficult to adjust to space. The small rooms are meant for shorter stays, yet the lack of personal space can make you feel even more stressed. Isolation is difficult at any time, but it becomes much more so as the days and weeks pass without any touch with loved ones back on Earth. In addition, this incident shows how important it is to have solid backup plans in space missions. The Starliner's vulnerability became apparent when NASA decided to use SpaceX for a rescue mission. Future missions may be plagued by problems similar to the one that occurred when the spacecraft intended to return astronauts home did not do so. With everything on the line, can we trust just one spaceship design? The astronauts' ordeal highlights the fact that space travel is fraught with peril and mystery. Despite the industry's impressive progress, the intricacies of human spaceflight necessitate ongoing alertness and flexibility to guarantee the safety and welfare of space travelers. How do we make sure that this kind of thing doesn't happen again? Effects on Boeing and the aerospace sector? Beyond the immediate worries of the stranded astronauts, the consequences of Boeing's Starliner problems are far-reaching. Public, investor, and regulatory trust in the firm has plummeted, and the company's image has suffered as a result. Boeing is currently under investigation that has the potential to change its reputation in the commercial space industry. Investors' faith in Boeing started to erode as word of the delays and technical difficulties spread. Before it became a symbol of failure and incompetence, the Starliner project was lauded as an important part of the United States human spaceflight program. Media coverage of Boeing swiftly turned skeptical, casting doubt on the company's ability to thrive in the face of intense competition. There are major ramifications for NASA as well. Maintaining astronaut safety standards while navigating the aftermath of Boeing's troubles is a challenge for the agency that relies on relationships with private corporations. The astronauts' return via SpaceX is just one more example of how NASA's partnership with Boeing is evolving. The future of human spaceflight will surely be shaped by the battle between SpaceX and Boeing as the space business evolves. Innovation and adaptation are crucial in a dynamic environment, as the disparity between the two firms shows. Given this setback, how can Boeing bounce back? And what are the prospects for its space projects moving forward? The results of strict regulation. As a result of Boeing's Starliner problems, the spacecraft's safety and dependability have come under closer examination from regulators. Missions must follow strict safety criteria, which NASA is responsible for overseeing as the principal regulator for commercial spaceflight. Boeing is facing increased scrutiny and calls for more openness as the agency's faith in the company declines. After the Starliner's technical problems, NASA began reviewing Boeing's procedures and policies in great detail. The managerial style, engineering choices, and quality control procedures of the organization are all under investigation. Potentially far-reaching consequences for Boeing's operational framework are emerging from the probe. In order to avoid similar incidents in the future, regulatory agencies are requiring strict evaluations and responsibility. This investigation will have far-reaching consequences for the commercial space industry as a whole, not just for Boeing. Competition in the space industry will be forced to adapt to the new regulatory environment brought about by Boeing's blunders. Stricter safety and performance standards may result from the heightened supervision, which will affect the trajectory of commercial spaceflight in the long run. The sector will need to make changes to meet the increasingly stringent regulations set by NASA and other agencies. Some businesses may be scared off from space exploration because of the difficulties brought on by regulatory oversight, while others may rise to the challenge and use innovation to satisfy the new criteria. Is the commercial space industry going to be helped or hurt by regulatory scrutiny in the end? Media influence and public viewing. The way the media has covered Boeing's Starliner problems has greatly influenced how the public views the corporation and its spacecraft. The media's portrayal of Boeing's disasters and technological blunders as the stranded astronauts' plight spread was relentless. A once revered aerospace behemoth went bankrupt, and the news reports painted an image of a struggling corporation trying to recover in a cutthroat market. The way the public views space exploration is a major factor in this field. How corporations like Boeing are portrayed in the media can have a significant impact on public perception and attitude. Public faith in Boeing's competence declines when reports of technological setbacks and delays predominate in the media. As the firm works to restore its image among consumers and financiers, the need to provide encouraging news grows. Additionally, public opinion has a greater impact when shared on social media. People are voicing their thoughts and feelings over Boeing's performance on social media sites like Reddit and Twitter. While social media does facilitate the instantaneous sharing of knowledge, it also opens the door to the possibility of conjecture and false information. Amidst an industry where public trust is crucial, the discourse surrounding Boeing's issues is a timely reminder of the importance of openness and responsibility. How Boeing handles the intense scrutiny from the media will ultimately dictate its capacity to restore public trust. To ensure that stakeholders comprehend the intricacies of space exploration and the company's dedication to innovation and safety, it must discover methods to convey both its triumphs and its tragedies. What strategies will Boeing employ to control how the public views it and restore faith after its setbacks? The space industry's dependence on private companies. Private enterprises' growing role in space exploration has changed the sector, altered the dynamics of spaceflight, and pushed boundaries. Not only has SpaceX become a dominant player, but it has also raised the bar for reliability and safety in spacecraft launches and maintenance. Traditional aerospace behemoths like Boeing have been forced to re-evaluate their plans and capabilities due to the increased competition that has resulted from this change. Innovation and a daring attitude have propelled private enterprises to bring new ideas to the industry. Thanks to revolutionary technological developments made possible by this new entrepreneurial surge, space travel is now more affordable than ever before. Businesses like Virgin Galactic, Blue Origin, and SpaceX are springing up because people are starting to think that space isn't only for governments anymore. It's a vast, uncharted territory waiting to be discovered. Now that these commercial companies are involved, NASA can work with them more closely. which frees up resources for lofty missions like Mars exploration and sending people back to the Moon. A prime example of how public-private collaborations may improve safety and speed up development is the Commercial Crew Program, which awarded contracts to SpaceX and Boeing to build crewed spacecraft. Private enterprises are always innovating as they compete to outdo one another. Launch costs have been drastically cut by SpaceX's reusable Falcon 9 rocket system, while suborbital space tourism has been proven feasible by Blue Origin's New Shepard. The industry as a whole has benefited from the technological arms race that this competition has sparked, and future space travel will be much easier as a result. But this model's long-term viability is called into question by the increasing power of private enterprises. Is the innovative spirit of these enterprises going to be stifled by the demands of profitability and shareholder expectations as the industry grows? In the upcoming era of space exploration, striking a balance between profit and development will play a pivotal role. What role will public-private partnerships play in shaping space travel's trajectory in the years to come? Humans in space travel, an essential part. An often overlooked human element of space travel is at the center of the Boeing Starliner tale, which focuses on the technological and engineering aspects. Astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore's stories are powerful reminders that real people are overcoming obstacles and making sacrifices for every trip. The mission to explore and discover the cosmos is a vocation for astronauts, not just a job. Both Williams and Wilmore have devoted their lives to becoming astronauts, enduring the strenuous physical training that is a prerequisite for the job. They personify the inquisitive human spirit that drives space exploration with their dedication to research and exploration. But we can't ignore the mental and emotional toll of being stuck on the ISS for so long. Even the most seasoned astronauts might feel the psychological effects of space travel's isolation and confinement. Feelings of worry and anxiety can arise from not having direct contact with loved ones and from performing under pressure in a high-stakes situation. The stories surrounding Williams and Wilmore draw attention to the personal sacrifices made by space explorers as the world observes the scenario unfold. The importance of strong support networks for astronauts on missions and after they return to Earth is emphasized by their experiences. The mental health of astronauts is of the utmost importance in a field that is constantly seeking new frontiers for human discovery. In order to ensure the safety of astronauts on future flights, what steps may be taken? The space race revisited. At a time when investment and interest in the space business are on the rise, Boeing Starliner is encountering problems. Private corporations are now actively defining the future of space research, expanding the current space race outside the purview of government organizations. Boeing and other established aerospace businesses are feeling the heat from SpaceX's consistently high standards for crewed missions and satellite launches. There has never been a more essential time to innovate and adapt to a changing landscape. There's a lot of pressure to be quick and creative in this fast-paced atmosphere because of the increased rivalry for contracts and missions. There is a wide range of enterprises and startups involved in the space race today, each specializing in a different facet of space technology. The emergence of new companies has stimulated innovation and rekindled the public's fascination with space travel, opening up new avenues for business and scientific discovery. Having said that, there are obstacles in the competition. High entry barriers, necessitating substantial capital and specialized knowledge, are becoming increasingly common as new businesses crop up. For the space business to keep growing, it is essential that established companies and new entrants work together. When it comes to exploration and technology, how will the current space race influence what comes next? A look into Boeing Starliner's future. The future is unclear as Boeing faces the difficulties of the Starliner program. In its quest to recover from the cutthroat world of space exploration, the corporation is at a crossroads. Can Boeing recover from its technological setbacks and win back trust in its abilities? This is one of the most important problems that remain. Boeing needs to get down to the bottom of the technical problems that kept the astronauts on the ISS for so long. If the Starliner is to be prepared for crewed voyages in the future, engineers must investigate the faults into their root causes. To win back NASA's and the public's trust, the corporation must demonstrate its dedication to openness and responsibility. Also, with the commercial space travel industry always changing, Boeing has to think about where it stands. Boeing must prove it can offer a dependable substitute for people traveling to and from the International Space Station while SpaceX's Crew Dragon spacecraft continues to earn success. In order to stay competitive, it is crucial to develop new technologies and improve current systems. Navigating regulatory scrutiny is also crucial for Boeing's Starliner program's future. Boeing will need to make adjustments to meet the increasingly stringent safety standards set by NASA without compromising the quality or safety of its spacecraft. To ensure its position in the coming age of space exploration, the corporation must rise to the occasion and meet the great expectations placed upon it. How can Boeing make sure the Starliner continues to be a success? SpaceX's influence on the market. Despite Boeing's best efforts, the commercial space business is still dominated by SpaceX, which is establishing new benchmarks for dependability and performance. Other firms are reevaluating their strategy in response to the intense competition caused by SpaceX's Crew Dragon spacecraft, which has changed the human spaceflight landscape. When people think of innovation and fast development, they think of SpaceX. The organization has become an industry leader thanks to its capacity to complete numerous crewed missions in a short amount of time. Not only have Crew Dragon's trips been a success, but they have also given the public and NASA faith in the spaceship. Beyond its technological accomplishments, SpaceX has far-reaching impacts. A new generation has been captivated by the company's space exploration efforts, which have revitalized public interest in the subject. Commercial space travel has been revolutionized by SpaceX, which has safely launched astronauts into orbit and returned them. The insights gained from SpaceX's experience will be priceless as Boeing strives to tackle its own problems. In order to adapt to the ever-changing space sector, Boeing must embrace a culture of innovation, agility, and safety. Will Boeing be able to keep up with SpaceX, a disruptive force, and the ever-changing industry? What can Boeing learn from SpaceX's impact on the commercial space industry? Why international cooperation is crucial. The present issues with Boeing's Starliner show how important it is for countries throughout the world to work together on space exploration. A model of international cooperation and scientific advancement, the International Space Station exemplifies the power of global partnerships. The importance of international cooperation between nations and businesses will grow as space travel is monetized. Space missions are notoriously difficult and resource-intensive, frequently requiring more than one country or corporation can provide. The difficulties of space exploration can be better met if nations collaborate and combine their resources. Additionally, space missions can be made safer and more reliable through international cooperation. Agencies can improve their readiness for emergencies and astronaut safety by exchanging data and best practices. Cooperation among space agencies such as Roscosmos, NASA, and the European Space Agency shows how far we can go when we work together. Boeing may have to think about how it may use international relationships to strengthen its strengths as it faces its challenges. To improve its chances of succeeding in the cutthroat space exploration industry, Boeing should reach out to worldwide partners and embrace collaboration. How will future space exploration be shaped by multinational collaboration? How space travel has influenced society. The difficulties encountered by the Boeing Starliner and the predicament of the stranded astronauts strike a chord in the social fabric. For a very long time, the idea of exploring space has captivated people and made them wonder what else the universe could hold. This last week has shown us once again the ups and downs of the quest for knowledge. Space missions are becoming more culturally significant as the public's interest in space exploration increases. As they reflect humanity's insatiable thirst for knowledge and its will to expand the limits of what is possible, the astronauts stationed on the International Space Station become icons of human accomplishment. Their daring and exciting adventures pique the public's interest and curiosity. The story of Boeing Starliner also shows how important it is to keep going even when things get tough. The unwavering resolve of the astronauts and engineers to conquer each challenge that comes their way serves as an inspiring beacon of hope. A tale of teamwork, creativity, and humanity's unyielding will to succeed is the history of space travel. The cultural effects of space travel are ever-changing as the globe observes the drama play out. The public's view of missions, both successful and unsuccessful, affects the hopes and ambitions of subsequent generations to explore space. How has space travel influenced public perceptions of human potential? The importance of lessons learned for space safety and innovation. A sobering reminder of how critical space travel safety is the Boeing Starliner story. The stakes are quite high because human lives are at risk. The need for thorough testing, quality control, and a safety-first culture has been underscored by each of Boeing's setbacks. It is imperative that the aerospace sector takes stock of its past failures and applies lessons learned. The lessons learned from Starliner can be used for future projects, highlighting the importance of thorough testing processes and open communication amongst teams. Each event in the chain of failures that postponed the Starliner missions was the result of a confluence of circumstances, as we witnessed. It is vital to address all potential issues before launch. To achieve this goal, it is necessary to implement thorough technical evaluations and create a safe space for engineers and technicians to raise concerns and disclose problems without fear of punishment. It goes without saying that innovation is crucial. Innovations in materials, systems, and procedures have the potential to greatly improve performance and safety as technology progresses. Businesses need to put money into R&D if they want to find out what else can be done with spacecraft. Revolutionizing spaceflight is possible with the deployment of cutting-edge technology like artificial intelligence for predictive maintenance and real-time monitoring. Last but not least, improved safety standards and new solutions might result from public-private partnerships. The quick creation and launch of the Crew Dragon spacecraft by SpaceX demonstrates that success is possible through reflecting on and adjusting to previous mistakes. The aerospace industry can usher in a new age of efficient and safe space travel by cultivating an atmosphere that promotes learning from both achievements and setbacks. How can we improve the security and creativity of future space missions by drawing on the lessons learned from the Boeing Starliner? The long-term plan for human exploration of space. Looking ahead to the future of manned space travel, the difficulties encountered by Boeing Starliner and the continuous advancements in the field offer vital perspectives on how to proceed. The Starliner program and its aftermath are instructive and inspiring, showing how space exploration is constantly changing and how crucial it is to stay ahead of the curve via creativity, teamwork, and flexibility. Due to rising interest in commercial spaceflight and technological developments, the rules governing manned space travel are evolving at a dizzying rate. As a result of SpaceX's Crew Dragon's impressive performance and dependability, other companies are rethinking their approach and investing in cutting-edge technology. As this sector seeks to grow, it will place a premium on innovation and safety. A recommitment to global cooperation is just as important as technological improvements for spacecraft if human spaceflight is to continue in the future. The sharing of information and resources will be critical for nations to overcome the obstacles that will be encountered in their shared space exploration efforts. The International Space Station is a remarkable illustration of how international cooperation can produce remarkable results and promote a feeling of togetherness on a global scale. In addition, space travel has had and will have far-reaching cultural effects that motivate and inspire generations to come. The stories of astronauts like Williams and Wilmore will inspire young minds as they gaze to the heavens. Their adventures and quest for knowledge are exemplified by their stories. The next generation of pioneers and space explorers will be inspired by this history, and it will keep us focused on our goal of colonizing the galaxy. The space exploration community's resiliency and the knowledge gained from Boeing's Starliner program will determine the course of our future manned space travel endeavors. There will be many more trials and tribulations in the future of human spaceflight, but the next chapter is only just starting. A potent reminder of the complexity and uncertainty of space travel is the saga surrounding Boeing Starliner and the stranded astronauts. Moving forward, we may use this event as a roadmap for manned spaceflight that is safer, more innovative, and more collaborative. The ambitions of individuals who are willing to risk everything to discover new things keep the spirit of discovery vibrant, even though Boeing has a long way to go before it can regain confidence and credibility. The public is captivated by the unfolding drama, which rekindles their interest in space and all the potential it offers, in addition to the enterprises engaged. The constant pursuit of knowledge is what propels humanity ahead, and gazing at the stars serves as a constant reminder that the path is just as vital as the endpoint. How will technological advancements shape human spaceflight in the years to come? What do you think about the future of manned space travel? Can Boeing recover and regain its status as a leader in the industry? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more exciting insights into the world of space exploration. Thank you for watching.